Welcome to what's this? This is the last, this is the last weekend in June of 2022. Um, Hi, we're going to celebrate a little bit here because I got tested. You probably know I've been down with COVID for like a week and a half or so. Finally got tested and again, not finally got tested again because I started feeling better. And despite all of the CDC warnings that once you're positive, you can test positive for up to 6 months afterwards, my test came back negative. I'm feeling pretty okay. Not 100% here. I am in fact negative, so yay! It does mean I still have to be in masking protocols while out for like the next 5 to 10 days, but you know that's dealable. This also means I get to go back into work, which is actually a good thing. I know it doesn't seem like it's a good thing, but it's better than working from home in this case. Not because I don't like working from home, but there's just stuff I can't do from home that I can do while I'm in the office. So, hi! What are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to, we have to do a toast of some sort.
I don't know where the fire is.
There's fire. Don't need your fire? There's fire.
Put blow regard on fire.
I'm not going to put blow regard on fire. Got that?
I got it.
That out. There you go. Let's be a blow regard. Yes, our pufferfish. And Aloysius here, who has been demoted from holding on to the boom mic. He's still our sound man, but the mic is now down here. Last week we had some complaints that maybe the music was coming through too much, and oh my gosh, shaking was just way loud. So, yeah.
So we have David.
We have David.
Good evening.
Excellent.
Keith.
Yay.
Greetings.
Keith. Hi.
Ruth. Greetings.
Greetings.
Elizabeth. Yay. Cause for celebration. Ruth. Glad you're feeling better. David. My toasting beverage tonight is Merlort.
You're toasting with Malort. More power to you.
Keith. A toast.
A toast.
Colleen. Yay for testing negative.
It's one of the few times that failing a test has actually made me feel good. So what are we drinking tonight for toast?
Yeah, what are we drinking?
So this is so just as a prelude to this,
Uh-huh.
You may recall from a couple weeks back I was talking about making like a lime cordial
Right.
from the limes and lemon peels, that sort of thing that I use whenever I squeeze lime juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
This gives you, unfortunately, a fairly large amount of lime cordial. And so when you look at lime cordial or lime syrup in tiki books, there's not that many drinks that actually call for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we would do something to use up some of that.
Uh-huh.
And so what we have in this glass, or split between these two glasses, is 1 ounce of dry gin. We have 1 ounce of brandy. We have, I forget, well, here, I can pull this up and tell us. We have lime cordial.
Right.
I don't remember how much lime cordial. Half an ounce.
Ah.
2 dashes of some aromatic bitters, and here we used Bitterman's Burlesque bitters. Shake that all up, pour that into a glass, and then add 4 ounces of ginger beer to that. And we're using Reed's.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Reed's craft ginger beer. This is the extra gingery ginger beer. This is actually the one I recommend for using, if you need a ginger soda, I recommend using Reed's ginger beer. She doesn't like ginger, doesn't like ginger beer.
I don't like ginger beer. I don't like ginger beer.
But she's actually liking this. And, you know, here, let's toast to some suffering bastards.
Yeah. Because that's what the drink is.
Yep, for no other reason other than the fact that the drink is called suffering bastard.
Right.
Yep.
So, two, being negative.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers. Being negative. I thought about doing another Top Gun reference and doing, you know, negative Ghost Rider as the theme for this evening, but I decided not to do that. Yep.
And congrats to Patrick and Lindsay, who got married.
Yes, Patrick and Lindsay got married.
Yeah,
Excellent. Yeah, yes, definitely. So
Congrats to them.
congrats to them.
Yeah.
Um, Congrats to Matt and Gabby, who are
Now have an apartment.
In Richmond, so that move is in fact going to happen. Congratulations to many more people than anything else that needs to be celebrated, because we need to celebrate things, right? So, Suffering Bastard, here's the Suffering Bastard. So, while I was convalescing from the vid, as it were, friends, sort of well wishes poured in from many different friends, and several of them actually sent us stuff to like, here, hope this makes you feel better, hope you like this. And one of those things was a fruit-infused tea whose primary ingredient is hibiscus, but there's all sorts of other things in there, including strawberry and the like. And this came to us from Zach and Amy. And, you know, I'm sure that they intended it to be, here, have some tea. It will be soothing on your throat. It doesn't have caffeine in it, so it won't keep you up because you're supposed to be sleeping. And here, have some wondrous, high quality, I think it's French, actually, French tea.
Yes. And we did.
And we did. And it's perfectly lovely and wonderful. But Zach, you had to know that if you were going to give me something like that, that chances were pretty high that I would, oh, it's over here, take that tea, ta-da, can you see the redness of the tea? Hopefully that's coming through, I can't tell. It's very red, it looks very hibiscus-y. Then I would take that tea and brew some up, make it nice and strong, and then add some sugar to it and make this into a hibiscus tea syrup, which we're going to use, and we're going to use in a Lovecraft Cockails original cocktail that I'm going to call Well Wishes. And so long as that tea holds up, I can make this cocktail.
So I have a question on the floor.
I have to slide over here because I can't actually see my wife.
That's okay. You don't need to see.
Because she's not sitting in her control chair. She's actually doing work while I'm doing this.
Amanda, I missed last week's session. Did you go through the process of making cordials?
No.
That's next on my list for DIY, since sometimes I can't find the right schnapps fired for dinner drinks.
So
are cordials like schnapps?
So in this instance, the cordial that I'm referring to is not a true cordial. It is essentially more like a lime syrup or a lime oleosaccharum. It's more akin to Rose's lime, what they call Rose's lime cordial, than an actual true cordial with alcohol in it. So it's an oleo that I'm using that makes this wondrous green, slightly green, tart, limey, sugary. It also would probably make a great base for a limeade. You probably just, you could add a little seltzer water to that, and boom, there you go. You'd be fine with a little limeade. Maybe a squeeze of some fresh lime to that. But it's an oleo. That's all I do. I take the. So no, I didn't go through the process. Well, I may have a couple of weeks back of essentially adding equal parts sugar or 2 parts sugar to those spent lime husks that you've used to juice, and throw that either in the fridge or on the counter. It's not going to go bad because of the sugar content, and the sugar will just rip all the liquid out of the juice of the lime and the rinds of the lime, and just make this wondrous lime, what I'm referring to as a cordial. It tastes like, but better than Rose's lime juice. So yeah, that's what we're doing here with the lime cordial that we put in here. Unfortunately, this is the only drink this evening that actually uses that, because like I said, there just aren't that many that use it. But there are a number of classic cocktails that use or specify Rose's lime juice, and you can substitute this for that, and that for that. Right? Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. You should hopefully get the point. I'm going to make the Well Wishes cocktail now. Thank you. I always appreciate questions, giving me a chance to run off on a tangent or go back to things that we that I either should have talked about or did talk about at an earlier time. It just makes it easier for the content, and I just love having people interact. So yeah. So what are we going to do? So this is a shaken and then double strained cocktail, and it started out life as a riff on a margarita, and instead of using the agave nectar, I was going to use this tea for it, and it was okay, but I think it needed something else in terms of complexity, and so we're essentially going to keep the base of the margarita intact, but we're going to rip out the tequila, and we're going to replace it with rum, but we're going to go with 2 different rums to see if we can build some complexity into the cocktail. So here we go.
So wouldn't it then be based on a daiquiri?
Not quite, because a straight up daiquiri is lime juice, some form of syrup, and rum. This is a more traditional margarita in that it has the orange curacao in it, which is the primary difference here. The classic margarita has curacao or some other orange liqueur added to it. The Tommy's margarita, which is actually my standard margarita around here, is literally just a tequila sour in the true sense. And then it's just a 3-ingredient cocktail. Okay, what am I doing? I need 3/4 of an ounce of this wondrous stuff. So I need one of these, one of these. It does have a high component of hibiscus in it, which means it is tart. I could probably use this in any cocktail recipe that called for hibiscus syrup, and it would be not the same, but it would be a really good match for that. Okay, we need 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice to add to this. This is going to be pretty tart. 3/4 ounce of lime juice. There we go.
We have a Flora.
A full ounce of a curacao or some other orange liqueur, and we are going to go with the Winden Distilling. So this is Lion Distilling's non-rum product, and this is a full ounce of that. There we go. Next up, we need 2 rums for this. One, I want an aged Demerara. I don't want anything too wacky here because this is still just a pretty clean drink. So I don't want real heavy depth of flavors. I don't want to use my Eldorado Port Morant or something, or my Eldorado 21. I don't need that depth to it. And the Port Morant would certainly, it's got way too much woody character to it. We don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go with my standard, the Eldorado 8. We're going to go full ounce here. We are going to go 1.5 ounces total of rum. And the other 1/2 ounce is going to be an aged Jamaican. I thought about taking this in other directions and maybe doing an aged agricole or something along those lines. But changed my mind. I wanted to go with a Jamaican. I didn't want to go with something overproof because I think that would just completely weird out this drink. So I'm just going to go with the Plantation Jamaican. It's a dry Jamaican. It has a little bit of that Jamaican funk to it, but it's not going to overpower it. It's not like the OFTD or some of the Hamdens that I've got, or God forbid something truly overproof like the Rum Fire or Rum Bar or Ray and Nephew, something along those lines, which I think would really make this drink very, very, or no, it'd be strange. Here we go. Ooh, it smells good. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to throw some ice in here. We're going to shake this up. Ice. Cubes here.
We've got a Christine.
Hey, Christine.
We've got a Flora.
Flora, awesome.
And Keith is sipping Eclipse.
Eclipse. What is Eclipse, Keith? Is it
Sipping Eclipse at this end of the Ethernet.
Wine? Eclipse wine?
Don't know.
Oh, no, you're sipping the Eclipse rum. Right?
Ah.
be my guess. I did this drink earlier, and if you were going to do a true kind of margarita-esque thing, you'd want that in a margarita glass or a coupe or something along those lines. But I went with Nick and Nora glasses just to mark this as being subtly different from the traditional margarita. So here we go, a couple of Nick and Nora glasses. I am going to strain this. In fact, I'm going to double strain it. So I'm going to go with my tightest wine strainer. Put these guys together. See how we do here. So far so good. Shake that up. A little more. A little more in there. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Got that taken care of. We'll set that over here. And ta-da!
It clips the wine from Horton Vineyard.
Oh, so
no, that's what Amanda's asking. Sorry.
So here we go. Here is the Well Wishes riff off the margarita, replacing the mezcal or tequila with rum and using hibiscus fruit tea instead. Fruit tea syrup. Hibiscus fruit tea syrup. Might also be good just on it.
Only we had mint. Oh, wait, we do.
Oh. Okay, swapping out the tequila. Tequila is the word I'm looking
right,
for.
Right, the rum is much better.
It's much better. Yes, there's a complexity here that was missing originally, and now it's here and good, and it's not great mint leaf, but that is quite young. Yes.
Thank you, Zach.
Yes, thanks, Zach and Amy. I drank many cups of that tea. I think we're down about a third of that box.
Yeah.
Is gone already, or at least that. Maybe we might even be approaching half with making the syrup, something along those lines. Here's this color.
Yeah.
So this quite good. Let's see, what do we get off of this?
Got the tart, and it's nicely balanced.
The tartness and the flowery note of the hibiscus comes through. It's not just like a dac.
Yeah.
There's a little cranberry. It almost comes across as cranberry tart, but it is not lime tart. You don't get that bracing hit of lime that you do in a daiquiri. The combination of the Jamaica and the Eldorado 8 works brilliantly here. The rum has a nice long finish to it without overpowering that cocktail. You could try and get even more complexity in here by adding some bitters to it, but I think the bitters would not play well with the tartness of this. So I would actually avoid that. I think this is super clean the way it is. I like it. I think this works really, really well. So there you go. I just made an extra strong batch, let it steep twice as long of the tea, which Star can probably put a link to once we bring the box down or something along those lines. We'll post it later if it's not up there already. Double strength batch of the tea, and then I added equal amounts by volume of sugar to it, and that's all. That's all I did.
So Keith clarifies it is the Eclipse, the rum.
There you go. Mount Gay Eclipse,
Yeah.
right?
And but Amanda says that reminds me I haven't had Horton's Eclipse wine in a while. I need to remedy that.
Wow, I'm getting quite a collection of glasses over here. Let's go back and try the Suffering Bastard. We did that in the right order. The Suffering Bastard, much better first drink than going with the Well Wishes. The hibiscus and the sweetness of that does not... When I come back to the Suffering Bastard, pretty much all I get is the ginger beer. So that's a little in the face there. Okay, so there we go. We've done one drink. We've talked about another drink, and now I have 2 more cocktails to do for you this evening. So we're going to continue with the red theme, and we are going to use the hibiscus strawberry fruit tea syrup again for a drink that shows up in Minimalist Tiki. So this is a drink from Jen Akin. I don't know if she is still at Rumba in Seattle, but when Minimalist Tiki was originally written, she certainly was with Rumba at that time. And here she makes a hibiscus tea and then pairs that with a simple syrup, passion fruit syrup, excuse me, not simple syrup, just passion fruit syrup, Aperol, a overproof, unaged Jamaican rum, and mezcal in a glass that doesn't sound like it should work, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Now, this drink is called the Red Wedding, and we're just going to go ahead and go with that. Because I'm using the hibiscus fruit tea syrup, and that's pretty tart in and of itself, I'm going to cut back just a hair on the passion fruit syrup. So between the tea and the passion fruit syrup, there's supposed to be 1.5 ounces there. And what I'm going to do is cut this way back to 1/4 ounce of the passion fruit syrup and 1 1/4 ounce of the hibiscus strawberry fruit tea syrup. We'll see how that all works out. But first, I need to rinse these. Oh, look, I can just rinse them as quickly as that. And new to us is a red disc with a hole in it.
Yay!
You might wonder, why do I need this? Well, my little spritzer rinser device over there has a rim on it, and cups like this are actually bigger than the rim, so it would just sit over the rim. You wouldn't get any rinsing action here. But you can take this piece, you put it over your rinser, and then when this hits it, it pushes down and the water jets up through the center and rinses the larger format shaker tins. So that works out really, really well. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I know you guys can't really see over here. I'm going to drop that in there. Yeah. All right, so here's my little red dude. I'm just going to set this on top. There we go. And that is all nicely rinsed. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? I think it's freaking cool. So that's rinsed. I'm going to go with the second one over here anyway. And it is angled, so the water comes straight out of it, which is really nice. Is it perfect? No! But is it good enough? Absolutely. I like it. Okay, so 1/4 ounce passion fruit syrup.
Shout out to Brock.
Shout out to Brock. Brock, who happens to live in Seattle, which is where this drink comes from, because it comes from Rumba. So here you go. There's a link right there.
He went to Rumba with us.
He did. That's right. All right. So what are we going to do? I'm trying to use up the last of this passion fruit syrup so I can make some fresh stuff. Just don't want to waste, right? Okay. So there's a 1/4 ounce of the passion fruit syrup. I'm going to stick this over here just in case we might need it at a later time. I'm going to go 1 1/4 ounces of passion fruit. 3/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce of the hibiscus strawberry tea syrup. And then, if I've done this correctly, there should be Aperol right over here. Aperol. Hey, by the way, with getting tested and Star always testing negative and Star feeling much better, she went out and actually went garage sailing and estate sailing on Saturday. She remained masked. It was all okay, cool. And she came back with a room divider, and that room divider is what you see behind me. Normally there's a door there with a towel hanging over it with a cat with a ukulele, right? But now we have this, right? So we have this little thing here. I'm not sure that that is a permanent locale, but I'd like to know what you think. Do you like this setup? Does this look cool to you? Does it look stupid and awful? In which case, we'll take it down. Okay, so what else do we need? That was a ½ ounce of Aperol. We need rum fire, a Jamaican white overproof rum, and Jen actually calls for this specific rum in the cocktail. So ½ ounce of rum fire. It is 63% alcohol, 126 proof. Right there. Gonna add some nice Jamaican funk to this. Funky, funky. The funky monkey will not be the funky monkey. There is no banana liqueur in here. And then we're gonna go with mezcal. Now this is a young mezcal, a Joven mezcal from Oaxaca. It is made from 100% agave, which is a little unusual for a mezcal. Oftentimes mezcals have other forms of agave. Oh, wait, no, it just says 100% agave. It doesn't say blue agave. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. What else? 1 ounce of this, right? And this is Presagio? Presagio? Yeah, Presagio. Presagio. And this was one of the gifts that we got when friends of ours, Corey and Chia, abandoned us and fled to the West Coast. So the issues of transporting open bottles of alcohol across state lines and that sort of thing just made it easier for them to leave some alcohol with us, figuring that we might actually use it. Duh. And what do you know, we're using it here in the Red Wedding cocktail. And, well, you know, they're both anime fans and fandom fans, so I think they would appreciate this mezcal being used in a drink called the Red Wedding, calling back to, of course, to Game of Thrones. So we're going to put some ice in here, we're going to shake this, and we're going to strain that into a Pilsner glass, which is going to be down here somewhere. But that Pilsner needs to be filled with crushed ice. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Like this. Reach up here. How am I doing at the bar? Am I doing better than I was last week when I was still trying to figure out where things were in the bar? I think I'm feeling a little better, a little more comfortable with where things are. So hopefully that's all good. We need a straw in this. Red Wedding. Red straw? That seems about right. Do we have one? Oh no, do we not have a red straw? Well, of course we have a red straw. We have a red straw that looks like a piece of bamboo. I wonder where that could have come from. I think maybe it came from, oh, I don't know, Surfside Sips? Could be. This is why you tend, if you're smart, you will actually put your straw in first before adding the crushed ice. There we go. All right, so that's set. I'm going to set this aside right here. Be good, be nice. We'll put ice in here. Not crushed ice. We're going to go with cubed ice. Wow. My hand and eye coordination doesn't seem to be at its best today, but it's okay. I don't need it to be. What I do need before I go any further here is another drink of this. Well wishes. Maybe a little sweet. I don't know. Maybe cut back the dry curacao. Could be. Red Wedding, shake it up. There we go. And we are going to strain this into our glass. This works out well. We don't have too much of the incense coming across here, so that's actually working out really nicely for me. I can smell it, but it's not overpowering the cocktails or anything. So we're going to just strain this. Nice, lovely red color. There we go. there's your red wedding. It does call for a canonical garnish, which is some palm fronds, pineapple fronds, whatever you want to call them, and something we can actually do, which is, if I can find one, because it's a Game of Thrones themed, so you got to have a sword, right?
Ah.
And as long as you've got a sword, you might as well skewer something. So what are we going to skewer? Well, of course, we're going to skewer a cherry or two. These are not the Michigan cherries. These are standard Luxardos. Not that those are bad. These are perfectly yummy cherries. Just not as... I don't know. I like these guys. I like the Michigan cherries that we've done in the past as well. I'm just going to go with 2 of them. Up here. And what you want to do, I think, with this is also make sure that you get some of the juice from the cherries, because then it'll sort of, it'll leak down into the glass, and it looks like blood dripping down. Yeah, that's kind of what you want to do. You could also take just a wee spoon, right? Just drizzle some of this across the top. Yep. And get a little bleeding down into the glass, because that's what you want to do, right? There we go. One of the advantages of the Luxardos over the Michigan cherries is that the Luxardos can actually sit out on your counter. The Michigan ones do have to be refrigerated. Okay, so here we go. This is a red wedding, or my variation of the red wedding. That is some weird flavor combination. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that there was a significant amount of bitters in this glass, but there are none. For a young mezcal, there's some definite smoke to that. So Star might like it, but she doesn't traditionally go for those heavy bitters cocktails. So I honestly have no idea. We could get a oh yum, or we could get a Miss Star stinky face from this, and I have no clue.
Not my thing. Yeah, no.
Would it be better?
Not quite stinky face, but...
Would it be better with a big old sprig of mint sitting here? No. No?
I don't think so. That one's yours.
That one's mine. Would you like the rest of my Suffering Bastard? It's a little watered down at this point. Yes, the answer to that question would be yes. Alright. So I guess the red wedding is mine.
Yes, the red wedding is yours.
So let's dissect this a little bit. In retrospect, cutting back the passion fruit might not have been such a good call, because the passion fruit really doesn't come through here at all. The hibiscus tea does come through. If anything, has a little more tea flavor to it, which may be part of why Star doesn't like it, because she also doesn't like iced tea at all, in terms of it being dirty water.
I like hot tea.
The interplay of the rum fire and the mezcal is interesting. I think those two play really nicely together. I'm not sure that the Aperol and the hibiscus tea and the passion fruit is all working together in the way that the original drink probably envisioned. So, I mean, this may be on me, right? The hibiscus tea that Jen uses is a different formulation than this, and so she just uses a hibiscus tea, and then it's got some spices and that sort of thing in it. We don't actually have any of those spice compounds in here. So I could try that, but it feels to me like adding anything else to this cocktail would be adding too much to this cocktail. I'm okay with it. I would not send this back by any means. But I probably also would not order a second one. It is a little challenging, I will say that. The interplay of the mezcal and the rumfire is really nice, but challenging. I'm not sure any other way to describe it. It will, I don't know, it's hard. It's just hard to explain. It's two flavors and they're working together in an interesting way, but it may not be a way that everybody would really like in their cocktail. I don't know any other way to expand on that. I am going to throw some mint in here and make sure that I get that in my nose. Let's try this. I think that tones down some of the weirdness of the cocktail. But I don't know. I don't know. Certainly, the Aperol's fine. You wouldn't want to go anything more tart than that. Using Campari in this would be a right total mistake. Yeah. The cherries are awesome. Cherries are always awesome. You make a pie with Luxardo cherries. I know it'd be hugely expensive. Man, that'd probably be tasty as all heck. All right. The well wishes. I'm not sure the well wishes really qualifies so much as a tiki drink. Red Wedding. I mean, it's definitely it is in Minimalist Tiki. It is definitely a tiki drink. It was created at a bar that is rum focused. By the way, congratulations to Rumba. I don't remember the exact reward that they got from Tales of the Cocktail, but they did get some form of award, nomination,
I think it's like
recognition.
A bar team.
Best rum bar in the U.S. or something along those lines. They are quite good. We do love their selection of rums. I will be back. Don't close on me. The third drink we are going to do is unabashedly a tiki cocktail. And it comes to us from Jason Alexander, who is, I believe, proprietor of, he's certainly at least head bartender at Devil's Reef in Tacoma, Washington. And Devil's Reef is a dark, mysterious, and Lovecraftian themed nautical tiki bar. And so a lot of his drinks have Lovecraftian references in them. And I unfortunately have not yet had a chance to make it to Devil's Reef. The closest to Tacoma I got was Seattle. We didn't have a chance to get over to Tacoma. It will happen at some point.
Amanda's hearing cricket. She's like, is that a cricket sound?
That is not a cricket sound.
That is a bird tormenting our cats.
Yeah, we have the back door open, and the cats, with the screen, of course, pulled across. And the cats are lying in front of that, and for the last hour and a half, there have been various birds that have come along to torture our poor cats. Speaking of torturing our cats, we had to run out for dinner this evening. I have no idea where we actually went for dinner this evening. Couldn't tell you. No clue. And we took one of our cats with us. He put his collar on, shoved him in the car, and I think this is the longest he's been separated from his sister, maybe ever. So this was a little traumatic for him. But he survived. He's okay. Two of them are curled up together, being tormented by birds. Their ears are up, their whiskers are out, but they're enjoying life. So, this drink, what is this drink? This drink is called the Third Oath. I actually had to look up the reference. I am a Lovecraftian nerd, but sometimes references pass me by. Turns out the Esoteric Order of Dagon, which features prominently in a number of Lovecraftian tales, has a series of oaths that one must swear if one lives in proximity or is a member of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. And this is a reference to the third of those oaths. And you don't need to know what the oaths are. Go ahead, look it up on like Lovecraft Wiki or whatever one of those. and it'll tell you. But we are going to make this drink, and it is called the Third Oath. This one is actually going to be blended. So I'm going to reach over here and grab a blender tin. But we're going to start with 1.5 ounces of my spiced syrup. This is cinnamon syrup in the original construction of the drink, but as we all know, I don't keep cinnamon syrup on hand. I only have my spiced syrup. 1.5 ounces, yep. I could have sworn that I made a big batch of spiced syrup not that long ago. But I gotta tell you, apparently I didn't. Or I've been using an awful lot of spiced syrup. Certainly I've been using more spiced syrup than I have been my orgeat, because this spiced syrup is almost gone, and my orgeat is still all over the place. I got plenty of that. Need some orgeat? Let me know. Other things that we should be mentioning. The tiki party is actually back on. So we had to cancel the tiki party that we were going to have, and we are in fact going to host it just a little later in the year. So that's good, that's awesome. I'm going to have to find a significant number of drinks that use orgeat in them, or just have a drink that uses a lot of orgeat so I can use up some of orgeat. And I'm obviously going to have to make some spiced syrup. This is a 1/2 ounce of falernum, by the way. This is Velvet Falernum John D. Taylor's, made by Foursquare Distilling out of Barbados. And then we need a 1/2 ounce of grapefruit juice. Again, I no longer have white grapefruit accessible, and it is not in season, so I actually can't get it. If worldwide shipping were actually working the way it's supposed to, I could probably get it from the southern hemisphere, but that doesn't seem to be working real well at the moment. You only need a 1/2 ounce. Grapefruit juice can be pretty potent stuff. There we go, there's a 1/2 ounce there. We need lime juice. We have a full ounce of lime juice. So here's your typical build of sour, sweet, strong, and then the weak is just going to be composed of the ice that we're going to put in here. Next up, it's a simple, basic rum. Instead of going multiple rums for a blend, Jason just reaches for an already good blended rum, which is the Plantation OFTD. Yes, I'm getting low on it. Don't worry about it. I got another bottle. It's all good. Need 2.5 ounces of this. So I'm going to start with the 1/2 ounce. There's the 1/2 ounce. And then there's 2 ounces. Got enough? Yeah, that's going in the infinity bottle is what that's going into. There's not enough there to do anything else with. It's a blend. Might as well shove it into the infinity bottle. What do you think?
Yeah.
One of the reasons that this caught my eye, and I just don't understand. But there is a connection between absinthe and Lovecraft that I just don't get. I don't understand, but it's there. There's something about making a Lovecraftian themed cocktail that screams, there's gotta be absinthe in this. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the wormwood, but then you could use Malort. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, David, how are you liking your Malort?
Yeah, David. What prompted the drinking of the Malort, by the way? I am curious. We have a dash of absinthe. This is Mount Defiance absinthe, by the way. That's a pretty hefty dash, so it may take over the cocktail a little bit. And then we need 2 dashes of an aromatic bitters. Now, I've got a ton of bitters out here that I could use. Might as well, for the sake of keeping it straight for this evening, I'm going to go ahead and use the Burlesque bitters. So this is a spicy little tart that is sure to tantalize your taste buds. The one and only Bitterman's Burlesque Bitters. So apparently hibiscus is the theme this evening, because this says, This melange of hibiscus, acai, and long pepper is sweet, spicy, and a bit of a tart. She loves performing for an international crowd, flirting with Italian Amari, Mexican tequila, British gin, and Caribbean rum. A perfect companion for drinks served where jazz is played and garters are de rigueur. Yeah, okay. Or, just car. 2 dashes, aromatic bitters. We're using Bitterman's Burlesque bitters. Saucy little tart bitters. Put that there. Okay. Now we're going to dump a bunch of ice in here. And then we're going to flash blend that. There. As per Smuggler's Cove and several others, say it's a really good idea to just take and do a couple of chunks of ice in there in addition to the crushed ice. I should really remember to use these spoons for doing cracked ice because they work so much better than pretty much everything else I've tried to use for doing cracked ice. I keep forgetting that they're just weighted just brilliantly for that. I don't know why, I don't know how. Alright, so here's the big test of the new positioning of the mic, because we're about to do a blended drink. So here we go. Blended drink, 5 to 10 seconds. Not that I was going to try and speak over that anyway, but there you go. Alright, I'm going to have to ask my wife to stand up because this is the third oath cocktail. So it requires, I think, a Lovecraftian themed tiki mug. All of my tiki mugs are over there currently, so we need this. By the way, do you like the bar towel? It says, "Oh, Cabana Boy, refill, please." So I think that's kind of cute. Wife got that for me, as you might expect. Sure. Cthulhu with bright, fiery red wings, and this is from Shima, right? This is 29 out of 100. And Shima's got a little cephalopod on the bottom here. Shima, this is actually from Russia, if I remember correctly. Now,
I think so.
I am going to use a strainer, but I'm going to do this pretty wide open. I just want to make sure, actually let's do an open pour and then a gated finish. The gated finish here is to make sure, I didn't even need to do that. This glass is far deeper than I thought it was. I'm going to add a little more crushed ice to that. My fear was that this would be too much for this mug if I allowed all the ice in there, but it's not. As there's another half scoop of ice just fits in there perfectly. Okay, we need a straw. Lovecraftian straw, so let's do, we'll do a blue tentacle straw, right, with a sucker on the end from
Surfside Sips.
Surfside Sips, better believe it. We need, this is, when Jason Alexander serves this up, he does it in a large snifter. I think that's fine, but I want to use a Cthulhu mug for that. Could also have used the King in Yellow. I don't actually have a Dagon mug. I'm not even sure what a Dagon mug would look like. Could have used the Innismouth mug, but anyway. So there we have it. We need a cinnamon stick. And I'm actually, Jason doesn't require this or call for it, but I'm actually going to toast the end of this. Let's see if that will do what I want it to do. And if that doesn't work, we'll break out the big guns, baby! Right? Stick that in there. I want some smoke here. There we go.
So, David says...
There we are. This'll work. Burn, baby. Burn! There, oh, look at that. Bright red.
I'm sorry. David is drinking Merlot.
So that seems much more likely
It is
than
the
just,
bottom of the bottle from dinner.
That seems much more likely than drinking straight up Malort. I mean, I wasn't going to put it past him, but if that's what he wanted to do, he could do that. I need a Cthulhu stir for this. I know I've got them. Oh my gosh. Where are we? There we go. Alright, so these are stir sticks from Horror and Clay that have Cthulhu on them. I want to stick that in there. Such. And some sprigs of mint are also going to go in here. Yes, we're going to spank them, David. Don't worry. There we go. Oh, yeah. Little apparently this mint is falling apart here, but that's okay, because the wretchedness of the cult of Dagon affecting the plant life around it. There we go. Yep. Ta-da! We have the third oath brought to you, Jason Alexander's, Tacoma, Washington's very own Devil's Reef. You know I'm a sucker for absinthe in my cocktails. I was afraid the absinthe would take over. It so doesn't. It is prevalent, but it is prevalent as sort of a back-end note. That's really good. Jason, you have done it again. And I should point out, 2 of these cocktails come to us from Minimalist Tiki. Minimalist Tiki puts forth, I think it's 30 basic sort of canon cocktails for doing tiki, and also has a series of other cocktails from up-and-coming or luminaries within the tiki world. And Jason Alexander is one, Jen Akin is another, several other individuals as well. And since we've done all 30 of the Minimalist Tiki standard cocktails, we may give some thought to working our way through the other cocktails that are in the book. There are a lot of them that require very specific syrup, or very specific ingredients, and we may try to avoid some of those, at least until we manage to track down those ingredients. I'm not a huge fan of things like pandan, I don't actually know how it's pronounced. So the stuff that requires pandan syrup or various X-washed rums, I'm not so sure that we will do, but we'll make some effort to get through a few of these cocktails from Minimalist Tiki that aren't part of the Tiki canon. Can you smell the cinnamon coming up of that? Cinnamon. Don't stab yourself on the swivel.
I don't think you showed off the beautiful red fiery back of the hair box.
Yeah, well, I showed it from here, but I don't know that you could actually see it. So what do we got? We're sitting right about 8:30. We have done 3 cocktails, and we started with a toast that was using another cocktail, Suffering Bastard. So now we've done the Well Wishes, Lovecraft original.
Yeah.
We've done the Red Wedding. Mm-hmm. She said ick, I said yum.
Right.
And we've done the Third Oath. Mm-hmm. So there we go. You got 4 cocktails this evening, or 4 cocktail recipes this evening. And once again, our usual, hey, I don't know how we sign this thing off.
Oh, David says this is to be thrown at you at appropriate times.
You might knock something over on my bar, and then you're not getting your drink. That would be bad. You can
check and see if there's any comments or questions.
You can come over to the bar and gently place it upon my shoulder. How's that?
Right.
Or I suppose you could have this towel and just terrible towel, like woo woo woo, cabana boy, whoa. I suppose that could work as well.
So,
how drunk would you need to be to do that? Not very, probably.
Elizabeth is polishing off the last bottle of chocolate chili wine from Black Mesa Winery. Anyone visiting Santa Fe, New Mexico, recommend a trip out there.
So good. Yes. What else?
Great wine, great scenery, and kitties.
Kitties! We have our own. The birds have stopped chirping. The cats have not left their position in front of the door. It is dusk out here, so the birdies might be going away. I don't know. Well, then we should show them the infinity bottle again. So here is what I refer to as my infinity bottle. My lovely wife got me a brass tag for the bottle that says rum on it, which is very cool. My family's had this for as long as I can remember. I remember on Guam in the 70s having this piece of glassware, so it's been around for a bit. And what do is, so I'll take out the cork here, and I will generally pour myself just a hidge of this so I know what it tastes like and can make an educated judgment as to whether or not I want to add more to it. But this is basically a blend of the bottom of bottles. So as I get really far down in things like this, I generally just add them to the infinity bottle. And so this creates a very unique rum that I'll never be able to replicate on the bar that I can use for whatever I want to use it for. We've done toast with this. There's so many things in here. There's Barbados and Bahamian, and there's Trinidad rums in here. There's very little Jamaica rum in this because I don't want it to just become Jamaica. So I don't tend to do that. There's no agricole in here. There's no clarion. There's none of that. Because that would just take this in a very different direction and potentially not good. There's definitely some cleaner rums, you know, some column still Bacardi-esque kind of flavors to this. I think this is mostly coming from things like the Angostura 1919, that sort of thing. There is a hint of Jamaica in there, and I've got to imagine that that's coming from bottles like the Jamaica. Maybe a little of the plantations that have some of that Jamaica in their blends. There's probably some Appleton in there, which is kind of a lighter, to my mind, a lighter Jamaican. I'm not so adverse to putting Jamaicans in here if they're aged, and that's taken some of the Jamaican funk down. There is definitely, you can tell that this is mostly aged rums, because there's definitely that tannic, woody element to this. That's quite yummy. Do I have any idea what the proof is? No. No clue, because I keep adding things like, you know, the OFTD or something like that to it, and that just messes up. I mean, most of the rums in here are probably 40 to 43%, but not this case. Let's see, here is another tasting glass. And I don't even know that the OFTD, that little OFTD, is going to make any difference whatsoever. But always a good idea to taste, add something, and then taste again and see what that did to it. I don't know, I think the original was slightly more aromatic, which I find odd and strange. Maybe it's just because it's been sitting out for just 30 seconds or so.
How?
That's really bizarre. I would swear that this, which was the original before I put the OFTD in, tastes hotter, more alcoholic. I just added a 69% alcohol to that bottle, and this tastes smoother and less hot. I no idea. Nope.
David has to do the dishes, so he says feel free to hold off on the red button.
Feel free to hold off on the red button.
So he doesn't have to do dishes.
Oh, I see. So you're hanging out until I press the red button, and then you have to run off and do dishes. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
David, I don't know how much longer I can draw this out, or how much longer I truly should draw this out. We did get started on time, so we've been right at an hour, and I would kind of like to keep it pretty close to an hour.
I'm going to push the button.
All right. Do you want to taste the rums? Do you want another sip of the amazingly good Third Oath? Did you like the Third Oath? Were you like, I like it?
I like it. It's not my favorite drink.
Wow, I really like this. This is really quite tasty. So that's the before. Seems a little hot, right?
Very hot. That seems less hot. I have no idea.
There is no way that this bottle was more than 69% alcohol. But apparently adding something that is 69% alcohol by volume decreased the feeling of heat in that bottle, in that infinity bottle. I don't know how that happens. That's just kind of amazing. It's the magic of rum, I guess. I don't know. If I have one other well wish to make, it is thank you for all the well wishes in terms of get better, get through your COVID, hope it's mild. And I gotta let you know, I was so relieved that of all the symptoms that I went through on the roulette of symptoms, I did not get the loss of taste or smell. Thank you. The worst I got was a metallic aftertaste, and that's from kicking the Paxlovid.
Yep.
So, thank you, goodness. That all worked out. We're going to call it quits at this point. David, you're going to have to wash some dishes, buddy. Sorry to say. It's been a pleasure. It's been a treat. I hope you like the new format, the new layout-y thing here. Let me know what the thoughts are. Hopefully the sound was okay. Give us all the feedback you want to give us. If you have questions for future episodes, please let us know. And I think we're just going to call it quits on that note. I think I'm going to give up on the whole daggone good cocktails because that just doesn't seem like it's resonating. So, I don't know. The end? How's that? Is that good? We'll just call it quits for the evening. Bye all. See you next week.